Well, good evening. Good evening. Welcome, welcome. Y'all know it's a winning Wednesday and it's time for some real talk and real solutions. I am Dr. Anana Pfeiffer Home, and I'm excited that you are here with me today, either watching, listening, what have you, but I do not take your attention for granted. So I appreciate you. Now listen. Y'all know what it is. It's time for real talk and real solutions. This month, we have been focusing on fatherhood. Yeah, fatherhood. I hope all the amazing dads out there had an awesome Father's Day this past Sunday. It was so great to see all of the tributes and the recognition, and just to see the men being taken care of. Let the men being honored and putting their feet up. It was just really, really good. So I hope you, as a dad out there, that you felt love, you felt appreciated, and more importantly, you were able to have some peace and some joy in your life. And of course, in this episode, I have an amazing guest that I cannot wait for you to meet. If you have never met him before, if you have, I believe that you're going to see him in a different way today. As we talk about fatherhood, and of course, with Real Talk, Real Solutions, we always focus and highlight on world leaders, people around the globe that are having an impact. And we focus on the 4 C's, which is civility, creativity, community, and climate change. And this gentleman here coming up, he is like, I want to say, the World Icon Award when it comes to civility, right? So let me just tell you a little bit about him, and then I want to tell you from my heart what I think and what I feel about him, okay? So as we start, I want to make sure that you like, you make sure you share, and you comment, and you join in on the conversation this evening. So I want to introduce to you Dr. Ruben West. Now, he is a successful entrepreneur who, along with several other partners, he has erected multiple companies to the tune of millions of dollars. Now, y'all better listen in, because if you ain't talked to someone who has earned millions of dollars, today is the day to listen. Okay, so in his different companies, they include martial arts, medical staffing company, a surgical staffing company, and more. So listen. And along his journey, he's studied success, the blueprint. And this is what I love, the blueprint, because you can get a blueprint and somebody else can pick it up and follow it. That's what I'm talking about, right? So that's when you can recreate it, right? But he's created a blueprint for success. And it shows a formula for other entrepreneurs so they can replicate the same results in their own professional and personal lives. Now, his devotion to helping others realize their dreams led him to establish Black Belt Speakers. Woo-hoo! Y'all know where my BBS family at. Black Belt Speakers, and it's a globally renowned training firm, and it helps emerging speakers, leaders, and communicators. Yeah, BBS. Where BBS at? If BBS here, I know I should be seeing you. Hashtag BBS fam. Let me hear you. Let me see you. But let me tell you a little bit more about him. In 2016, Dr. West received the President's Lifetime Achievement Award from President Barack Obama. Did you hear that? In 2018, Dr. West received the Gurma World Georges, and this is from the former president of Ethiopia, the Presidential Award for being a human conservationist, which is defined as bringing out the best in humans. But I'm not done yet. In 2019, he received the Sidney Allicock, Vice President of Guyana, the Global Humanitarian Award, and was recognized as the United States, hear it, United States Civility Icon of the Year by I Change Nations and the World Civility. And this was actually at the World Civility Day Conference in Gary, Indiana. Now, Dr. West, he has developed a new communications paradigm called Bialogue. Listen up for this, guys. We're going to talk about that, which is considered by many to be the next evolution of change in how countries, companies, and communities communicate and build for the future. Now, as a speaker, as a trainer, and an author, and a World Civility Ambassador, Dr. West, his message transcends the stage, the page, and it captures the hearts and the souls of those who hear his voice and read his words. Now, listen, that's his bio. But I'm just gonna tell you, for me, Dr. West is a friend. He is a mentor. He is someone that really has become like a big brother to me. And I tell him that from the bottom of my heart, being able to travel the world with him, his ability to see things from a lens, it's just incredible. And I always like, Doc, I need to check in. What you think? His opinion, his vision, his perspective is so priceless. So without further ado, please, please, guys, y'all just welcome Dr. Ambassador Ruben West to the screen, to the Real Talk, Real Solutions.
There we go. I love it.
Yes, sir. Good evening. Thank you. Thank you for being here. How are you?
I'm absolutely wonderful, Anana. And thank you for that great introduction. But more importantly, thank you for just being who you are. Thank you for hosting this show. And to the people who are tuning in, thank you for tuning in. And I believe that we're going to share some information in this show that will change your life if you let it. So thank you for being here.
Absolutely. Super excited. I mean, just sharing your bio. And you know what, at the crust of it all, and I'm sure even for you, you know, all that you have done, how many lives that you have, you know, amazing people that you have poured into, but more importantly, you are a father.
Indeed.
You are a husband, right? And
Yeah.
people don't necessarily know that part about you.
Yeah.
They don't really, I mean, that's the realness of who you are. And I want to just get into that tonight because I know time is of essence. You know, let's just jump right in. It's time for some
Sure.
real talk. All right. So my first question is, when you think about a father, when you think about fatherhood, there's two parts to this. What does that look like for you? What was fatherhood for you? What was it, you know, having your father, your grandfather? I know you share some amazing stories about growing up, right? And the men that were in your life. And part two is, what are some of the major or the most memorable values or disciplines that the men, you know, being a father or father figures in your life that they instilled in you?
Yeah, that's such a powerful question. And so you're done with the interview. This is going to take the whole time. I'm going to ask this question.
That's it. That's it.
Now, let me tell you guys this, and I want you guys to catch this. So let me tell you the number one thing I've learned now that I'm a father is that I didn't know anything when I was a kid. See, what's crazy is when you're a kid and you have a father, you have a grandfather, you also have an expectation of what they should do for you and what they should buy you and what they should get you and how they should work for you and how they should be nice to you and how they should do all this thing and how they should use all of their time for you.
Right.
And until you get a child or children, and then you realize that being a father has nothing to do with necessarily doing everything they want you to do. It has nothing to do with always being nice and providing them the things that they want all the time.
Right.
Being a father is the responsibility of steering them in the right direction, even when they don't want to go. And so, you know, fathers, we get sometimes a bad rap because we don't necessarily have the heart of a mother. You know, a heart of a mother. Kids can get to their mom like, Mom, you know,
right.
and then, but your dad, it doesn't work. You know, they're gonna bring that discipline. No, I told you to do it, and that's what's gonna happen. You know,
Right.
And so one of the things I realize now is that when I was younger, my father was there, but I didn't know what his role was until now. I understand that was his role, and
Wow.
so I just have an expanded knowledge now because your job is to guide them in the right direction. The other thing is. And I'm going to say this, and this is for everybody out there. There is no handbook on parenting.
Yes, true.
Right. And so watch this. I see Alicia Bush out there. Alicia, let me ask you this question, and I'm asking it to everybody. If you have children, and let's say your children are 7, 8, 6, 5, 3, 10, and you've got to go away. Watch this. You got to go away for 4 years. You got to be gone for 4 years. And they said, but here's what you could do. You can't necessarily pick who you get to watch them, but you can pick the age group of the people that you're going to have to watch them. So you can have 15 to 25.
Okay.
You can have 26 to 35. You can have 36 to 45, or you can have 46 to 55. The question is, what age group would you pick to watch your 10-year-old, 12-year-old, 6-year-old, 5-year-old. I don't think anybody would pick 15 to 25.
No.
I wouldn't. You know, I'm gonna go with that 26 to 35. You know, maybe even older. You know why? Because they're so much more wise at that age. And so this is the trick, and I'm giving this to somebody. This is the trick because life plays a trick on us. See, when we're young enough physically to have children, doesn't make us old enough mentally to raise the children. That's why they say it takes a village, because the older people in the village provide the wisdom and we provide the support. And so all I'm saying, and I'm saying this to somebody, that sometimes when you realize they didn't do this and they didn't do that, and I didn't get this and they were this and they were that, or they weren't this or that, look at the age group they were. Right? Because they weren't as wise as we think they should be. They're not as wise as we are now. My parents at 22 and 23 and 25 are not as wise as I am at 51. Right. And so sometimes we just have to give them that path. So what I want to say is, look, we just got to take it for what it is and understand that our parents, as parents, we do the best we can. Now, what are some lessons? My dad, here's the lesson. Whatever it takes. I mean, I watched my dad get up 6 days a week for my life. Worked at Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and every Saturday, 6 days a week that I ever remember. 6 days a week for my life. And what that taught me is, Ruben, whatever it takes. Don't come with no excuse about you're tired. Don't come with no excuse about you didn't feel like it. There were days I watched my dad and he would get up and he'd still be asleep. And he's like sleepwalking with his boots on. He forgot to put his pants on. And he's headed to work. And my mom's like, Bobby, get in there and put your pants on. Oh, my mom's watching. I don't know if I was supposed to say that. But either way, I've just got to tell the truth. I really did whatever it took. And then my father's father, Clyde West, who left home when he was 13 years old, was born in the 1890s. He said his father got killed and he worked as a field hand, which means he did whatever they told him. They paid him 6 cents a day and then charged him 4 cents a week to live in the barn. He said they fed them whatever they weren't going to sell, the pig's feet, the pig's ears, the pig's intestines, whatever they weren't going to sell. And they had to learn to fix them to make them taste palatable. What did I learn from him? No excuses. No excuses. Zero. So for me, I mean, I'm working in surgery, it's air conditioned, and we sterile.
Right.
That's why I don't give any, because they didn't have that option. My grandfather, Riley Bird, my mom's father, stand for something. My grandfather was a minister. He was a pastor. He was an assistant pastor. He was a police chaplain. And what would happen is when there was a problem on the police force, somebody's lost their life or something, they would call my grandfather middle of the night. He'd get up, get his walkie-talkie, get his chaplain badge, and he would go over and talk to those people because my grandfather, Riley Bird, stood for something. And so these lessons that I've learned from my dad, whatever it takes, my grandfather, Clyde West, show up every day, no matter what, and Riley Bird, stand for something. These are principles that I'll use in my life every single day with whatever I do. Wow. There would be no Ruben West without them, and I can tell you that right now.
Indeed. Powerful. And when you talked about grandparents, your father's father, and of course, even think of where we are, even in the world right now, in the crisis, the pandemic, in the pandemic. I really feel, especially as for Black men, that narrative is not told, right? People really don't know, our especially Black men, the stories, the sacrifice, the love, the things that they do for their family, did for their family, right? And that we are here today. Right? Like we're standing on their shoulders. Indeed. And I think it's so important, even when we talk about even our youth, is that they really don't know the history. They really don't know, where we come, that like, I just feel like the shoulders that we stand upon, right? To be here today, to be great. Listen, all of these awards and recognition, that all is because of, where we come from, right? So I think now it's so important for us to tell these stories, right? To bring those perspectives. What do you think?
And Anana, watch, I love what you just said. You said they don't know the history, right? And so I love the very fact that we go and study the history. But what I want you to do, and I want everybody watching to do, if you have a father or if you have a mother, go learn their history. No, not just the history of African Americans or the history of Anglo-Saxons or the history of the United States. Go learn their history. Yeah. Understand some of the things that they had to go through. Understand some of the things that they had to work through. And that way, when you feel like you don't want to be appreciative, when you feel like you're not getting what you're supposed to get, you will understand that they work harder than you ever realized. And you got me excited. The reason I tell you go learn the history is because most of them do it without saying anything.
Yes.
Most of them do it without saying anything. And so you think they skated by. You think they had it easy. That's because you didn't take the time to ask them questions to learn their history. So I can tell you things about my mom's history. I know she had the first civil suit against Adams Business Forms for discrimination of females. I know that. I know about the time my dad said he got on the elevator with the police and they were going to do him over and something happened and he was able to slip away. See, like these things I learned. I learned my grandfather's history when he said his father got killed when he was young because his pig went on the neighbor's yard, and when he went over to get him, he killed him.
Oh my God.
Killed him. And so at 13 years old, he had to go out on his own as a field hand. And they had a saying, if you don't work, you don't eat. See, learning their history gave me a new perspective. It gave me a new appreciation that it's not my job to go back and see what they can leave me. It's my job to see what I can do that they can see while they're still living.
Yes.
You done got me excited. And
that's it. That is it. I mean, and that's just because of the passion, it's just so real that is so important, right? And I think that's what the power of Proverbs, right? African Proverbs, like, I don't even know, now that we're talking about it, I think that even in families, maybe we should come up with our own Proverbs, right? Exactly. Our own different stories, right? Because they'll all get lost and people will rewrite our history. They'll rewrite our stories and they don't have a clue, exactly. Right? So I think it's so important to do that.
Not only do they not have a clue, but it's important for me to learn my mom's story. It's important for me to learn my dad's story. It's important for me to learn my grandfather's story and watch this. And it's important for me to tell the story. It's important for me to tell my story. Matter of fact, everybody listening, it's important for you to tell your story because at your funeral, everybody else is going to be making it up. So you might as well tell it the truth right now while you're living it. So I'm just determined. Not only am I going to tell my story, but I'm going to find out theirs and I'm going to tell it too.
Yes. So just hold on, because we're about to tell it. Look, there's more to come. There is certainly more to come. But yeah, I really feel that, like I said, even in this time and all that we're going through, it's so important. If we could take time to really, and what we do is develop our stories, right? And be honest and be true about the challenges. And it just grows the level of appreciation, of respect. Like I put my shoulders back because I know what my grandparents went through. I know what my great-grandparents, that's powerful. Powerful. So yeah, it's incredible. And I'm just, even as we're thinking about it, and I know we talked about BBS, and I just one thing that happened to me is that I thought about today, even preparing to speak to you, is that we always even have to take time to just acknowledge people that have helped you and that have blessed you. And that could be in any area, but specifically because we're talking about fatherhood and just men in general. I think it's so important for us to just say, listen, I appreciate you. I feel like, and I don't know, I'm not a black man. You are, sir. But I feel like you probably haven't heard that enough. Or maybe your father didn't hear that enough, right? Yeah. Or if there's men watching, I bet you, I know we saw our brother Saucony Prince on here. Yeah, you know what? Maybe you haven't heard that enough that, you know what? I appreciate you. And I want to just say that even to you, sir, you know what? I appreciate you. And of course, BBS family out there, listen, if Dr. West has poured into you, he has blessed you, he has been there, supported you, helped you, let him know tonight. Listen, Dr. West, we appreciate you. We thank you for whatever it may be. But that's what the father, focusing on the fatherhood was really about. It's just like for this month, I want to appreciate fathers. I want to appreciate men that have helped or even been a father figure for others. So that's just something that I wanted to share. And I hope that tonight you get some text. People can put in the comments, I appreciate you, that we begin to really show appreciation and, walk in a place of gratefulness, right? For even the fathers and the men that are in our lives.
Yeah. And let me say this, it's really tricky and everybody will have to take this as they will, but it's easier to get stuff from sugar than salt.
Yeah.
You hear that all the time. It's easier to get stuff from sugar than salt. And so one of the hardest things to do is be new parents.
Yeah.
That's why I was talking about, would you pick somebody between the age of 15 to 25, or would you pick 36? Right. Because when you're new parents, there's so many things that are coming at you. And let's be honest, you simply don't have the wisdom to raise a child. You're like, literally, there's so much that we have to learn that we're still learning at 20, 25, 30, 35, right? And so now here we are, 22, 21. Some of the kids are getting 19, 17, 15. Mm-hmm. And they don't have the wisdom. And watch this. They even say that the brain is not mature until 25. It's still developing, mm-hmm. right? Mm-hmm. So what that means is there's certain things that people say, you ought to know better. They ought to, but they don't. Because if they knew better, they would what?
Do better.
So the very fact that they're not doing better shows that they don't know better. Now watch this. Now when you get a young father, and I'm saying this because I'm speaking on the behalf of fathers, but I'm just want to help repair some relationships. But now when you get a young guy and he really doesn't know what to do and he's scared, and one of the things about women is they've developed this relationship with each other, is that when woman has a baby, man, all of these women surround her and they go, oh my God, this is so great. Let me help you. And let me tell you what to do. And here's a baby shower. And guys are like, well, what do we do? And there is no guys all getting around.
Right.
Let me tell you what to do, bro. Let me check. That doesn't happen.
True.
It should happen, but it doesn't happen. Yeah. So now, because they're not getting coaching, because women get coaching from other women, the guys are not getting coaching. They don't know what to do. And a lot of times the relationship hasn't been solidified. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So now you have a strained relationship. You have a new baby that they're trying to take care of. You have a woman that's being surrounded with these other women that's giving her advice, that's coaching her. And then you have a guy who's out here trying to figure out what to do.
Right.
And here's what I guarantee you. It's not going to be right because we don't know what to do. There is no handbook. And so what he does is he shows up with a bag of diapers. You know how guys are. They'll show up with one bag of diapers, not knowing that bag ain't even gonna last a day.
2 days, right?
Yeah, a couple of days. And then watch this. And you know what they say? What the hell am I gonna do with that? What am I gonna do with one bag of diapers? Now I agree. Everything they're saying is right, but what they also don't understand is that's not making him bring more diapers. Mm-hmm. That's making him think, well, no matter what I do is not right. Like, because they don't know. See, you have somebody gathered around you, coaching you, and they don't have anybody gathered around them saying, hey, here's what you do. And then they don't have somebody gathered around them, tell them, go back and show up again. Yeah. I know it hurts. I know the comment hurts. I know it made you feel insignificant. I know you don't know what to do. I know you feel frustrated. I know you don't feel appreciated, but just get another bag and go back again. Get 2 more bags this time. And it's that coaching is what they need. And all I'm saying is that if you could give them a little bit of appreciation, even for the small thing, it will allow them to do the bigger thing. That is, hey, you know what? Thank you for this one bag of diapers. That may last till tomorrow, but here's what I need you to do, Mikey. I need you to, this is how many he goes through in a week or she goes through in a week. They don't know.
Yeah, you're talking right. Yeah.
So all I'm saying, I'm just trying to help somebody today. All I'm saying is, give them a break and maybe position it in more of a appreciative way and a teaching way. Because unfortunately, we as men let the young men down because there is no support group where a young man can come to with a group of dads telling them, well, here's what you do. And whatever you do, don't go over there with one bag of diapers. Like, that's what we should be doing. But because we don't do it, they hit a hard time. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
Now that's really good. Now, because that's solutions, right? And I think that's the point. We don't have, and you know, like you think a lot of women, we have that support. We'll get and have girl talk, girl. It's all right. Here's what you're going to do, you know, but men, especially young men, don't have that support, or, you know, that communication is not there where someone to give them the right way. And what I found is that people operate on the level that they're at. Right. Yeah. So I love you on the level that I know how to love. Right. So you might be expecting it on this level, but this is where I am. Like, I'm giving you really the best. This is all that I know to do. And really balancing that and learning to, you know, work through that. I think a lot of relationships and fathers and mothers would stay together because everybody, you know, really loves and shows different things on the level that they're at. And we have to learn to appreciate people where they're at and help them get, you know, move forward.
And we have to learn to coach people on the level that they're at. Mm-hmm. And coach them to deal with other people on the level that they're at. Now, let me tell you what I mean. Let's take that same young lady. She has a group of women surrounding her. They're coaching her. They're telling her what she needs. And then they'll ask, hey, is Chris doing anything? Is he helping in any way? And then she'll say, well, he brought this bag of diapers. And they're going to let her, a bag of damn diapers. What are you going to do with one bag of diapers? Right? And so now they're beating up Chris. They're poisoning the water. And where they could say, well, did you tell Chris how much he needs? Did you inform Chris what he can do?
That's it.
But they don't.
That's it.
And you know why? Oh, come on, Ruben. Don't do
That's it. That's it.
You know why they don't do it? Because some of them are still bitter from the experience they had with that person.
You better the level that they on.
This relationship. And so now they're poisoning this possible effective relationship because they're still mad about what happened to them. Look, Chris ain't Frank. Don't treat her like this because Chris ain't Frank.
Thank you.
Well, let me tell you what I learned. A lot of times they don't know what to bring. So let's give Chris a list of what would help you. And then let's teach Chris how to give you a break. Chris, if you could come by from 3 to 5 and just spend time with the baby so I can just go lay down. But they don't give them that coaching. That's why it takes a village because these two kids, even if they're married, they still don't know what to do. We having real talk and real solutions.
That's so real. That's for real. And I think that we can save a whole lot of relationships, of families, and think of that, from that perspective, like. And I think I was like maybe a week or so ago, I was speaking to someone and, people were having some marital issues or what have you. I'm like, listen, they had this baby, like they really don't even know each other. You know what I mean? There's so many variables. I'm like, baby, I want to just say, first of all, peace, be still. Like, don't nobody need to go nowhere. But we just need, that wise counsel is just absolutely incredible. It's good. It's good. We could go all kinds of ways with this one. But I appreciate even like I see Terrence out here, Mr. Unstoppable. And from a male's perspective, he was saying, give us accolades as well as awareness of what we need to do. Yeah. Like we just think people know what to do. We think they know how to be a father. But what if I never really saw it? I don't know what it means to be a father. Let's really talk about that. What do we do with that?
Let me address that.
Okay, please.
So one of the things you said is, what if I never really saw how to be a father? Watch this. Even if you did, it wasn't with that mother though.
That's right.
So even if you saw how to be a father, you do know the mother plays a role in it. And you do know the mother has her own upbringing and background and her own circle of influence. So even if you're being a father, just like you were shown, it may not make a difference to this mother because she has a different circle of influence. So not only how are we having to learn how to be a father, we're having to learn how to be a father to this child and with this mother and with her circle of influence. That's why we have to have patience. That's why we have to have the village, because the village is the only place we can get the wisdom of what's really going on. The village is the only place that a young man can be told, look, well, she's not mad at you. She's mad at that one pack of diapers. It's not going to do anything, right? But since nobody has the ability to give him that counsel, he's pissed off. He's like, well, forget it. I ain't going back again. You think I'm going to keep going over there and keep getting beat up? And all it does is it strains the relationship.
Yes.
Right? I mean, because they don't know. And we think we know. Remember, listen to what I said. Mentally, our ability to take care of a child is when we're older. But the best time to have a child is physically when we're younger. Yeah. That's why it takes a village, because the older people can give some input. They can help give some structure. They can watch for a while and send them right on back to you. But they're getting that guidance and wisdom. Yeah. That's why it takes a village.
Yeah, indeed. And you know what? Those that are listening, you may not even be in that experience right now, but I even encourage you, you understand the value of it. Listen, let's help somebody. Like, you know what I mean? And you don't even understand the power of just wise counsel, of listen, you seeing somebody struggle on one way or the other, the mother, the father, but being able to really just say, like you said, nah, it ain't, I know you gonna call him a no good, this and that, but baby, he just really didn't know.
Let me give you, Anana. Oh, let me give you that. Thank you, Tammy Taylor Jones. I saw your comment. Thank you for your honesty. Royal Lee, I saw your comment. Thank you for your honesty. Do me a favor out there right now. share this video. You're not sharing it for me, and you're not sharing it for Anana. You're sharing it for someone who needs this information. And then when you share it, put must listen, because you got to give them some direction. But Anana, you just said something. Here's my point. We all do the best we can with what we have.
Right.
And we show up every day ready to do the best we can.
Yeah.
But if we don't show up, watch this. And guys, I'm not letting you off the hook. If you don't show up with a willingness to learn, then you're going to be lacking. Now, here's the problem, is that most of the time when you become a father, there's a different level of communication that you now have to have with the mother that you never, ever, ever had to have before.
Yes.
So if you didn't develop communication skills when you was just cool and booed, when you was booed up, right? And I don't care if you're married or not. I'm saying if you was with whoever you was with, then there's going to be a new level of communication that you don't have, right? And then you said something. You said, well, you good for nothing. Well, they were good for something.
It's hilarious.
I mean, they were good for something, right? And so there's a saying that whatever you focus on longest becomes the strongest. And if you focus on what they're not good at, what they're not good for, and what they can't do, and what they'll never be, then guess what? Those are going to be the strongest emotions that you process. But there is a level of coaching that women can have. And women have this crazy power. They don't understand it, Anana. They have this amazing power, but nowadays they're not taught how to use it. And that power is the power of femininity, the power of softness, the power of touch, the power of love. Because if they came and say, you didn't do this, blah, 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 blah. Look, you come out with a man strong, he's coming back strong, right? Because the best way to connect with a human being is to be one. How do you get a baby to smile? You smile at the baby. So if you want the baby to smile, you smile back. But if you came and said, baby, let me show you something. Let me tell you something.
Come on, right? Break it down.
You came in being the woman, being the female, using that femininity and say, look, I need something from you. Right? I don't care what you got to call him sugar. You got to call him big daddy. I don't care what you got to call him.
Yes.
Something that you know to call him that gets him to say, what you need? What can I do? Right? And so when you come right that and you tell them, let me tell you what I need from you, right? And not it, then you get a different result. You get a different reaction. And so all I'm telling you is you guys already have the power. God has given it to you. And the power is the difference. Men are not used to relating to women who act like men. Oh, stop, Ruben. No. Men are not used to relating to women who act like men.
Ooh.
Men are used to relating to women who act like women. And so all I'm saying is that if you come with him with a level of softness, that's your power. That's the power. We say, babe, let me talk to you. Let me tell you what I need from you. Let me sit on your lap. Let me explain this to you. Now what happens is, and I get it. I know you're pissed. I know you get mad. I know you get frustrated, but you have to check that before you go have the conversation. Now, when you have the conversation and you're doing it through love, compassion, concern, and your power, femininity, your power, that soft touch, your power, those kind words, those breakdown words, you know what you call them. I don't know
what to do.
I know the words. When you come like that, guess what? He's coming back for you. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna take care of you. I don't know what I got to do. These Pampers, these diapers, but I'm gonna go get this because he was good for something. That's all. Come on.
We went a whole nother area, but I know we helping somebody. I know it because I'm still learning it. Okay.
You know what? And you see, this is the power, because. And that's why you got to watch who's surrounding you, who's the wise counsel.
Yes.
Right? Because, and in men, you don't go approach a woman like she's another man. You approach her with the respect and the kindness and the softness and the gentleness that she deserves as your woman, as you're the person you're protecting. Like, something you need. What can I do? What can I do for you? Excuse me. You see what I'm saying? That's why in Chinese martial arts, we call it the yin and the yang. It's the opposites attract. That's what it is. And so we have to use those powers when we approach each other. But watch this. Come on, Ruben, don't. I'm gonna do it. Watch this.
Come on, do it.
When emotions are high, intelligence is low.
It's low. Yes.
So what
Yes.
happens is now when you get pissed off, when you're mad that he ain't came by, when you're mad that she ain't called, when you're mad that she got around her friends and she don't talk to you, or that she's giving the baby all the attention you used to get all the attention because you don't understand that the baby now resides. And so now when you're going emotionally high, then your intelligence is low. And let me tell you what you're lacking. You're lacking the right connection skills. So you don't connect. The minute you open your mouth, you already came wrong. The lady came hard, the man came hard, it was wrong. And so now everything else is based on that foundation of how you just came up, and it's not gonna work. And so if I can give you a suggestion, because I don't want to tell you without giving you an opportunity to give the suggestion of how to correct it. Here, whether male or female, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go back to that person and I want you to say this: I owe you an apology.
Powerful.
I was acting as if, and then whatever it is that you need to say, I was acting as if you already know what it takes to raise a baby. I was acting as if I was communicating with one of my fellas. I was acting as if I was your mom and not your significant other. See, whatever you need to say, I was acting as if. And what I would like to do is to create the possibility that we could communicate out of love. And what I'm willing to do is X, Y, Z. That's a whole statement. I owe you an apology.
Yeah.
I was acting as if blank. What I'd like to create is the possibility of blank. And I would like you to participate. Don't take my word for it. Watch me work. You understand? So we have to have language that creates the connection, because watch this. Judgment pushes people away. Acceptance brings them together.
That's good.
Right? And you can never see, what can you write on a board that's full of stuff? Nothing. So before you can write, you have to erase the board. Those words help you create a space to create a new outcome. I was acting as if you had it all together.
Yeah.
And what I've come to realize, you're just as lost as I am.
Yeah.
What I'd like to create is the possibility that we could communicate in love and learn new ways to raise this baby. And what I'd like to do is have you participate with me. You understand?
That's good. Listen, I know this good today. I know this is real talk right here. This is real solutions. Now, Doc, because I know time and we got some stuff to talk about. Doc, so you know this, right? Now, first of all, we're gonna talk about Bialogue, because I want you to just share some things, because I think how that even can come into parenting.
I'm gonna get it. Yeah.
Okay. But before we do that, now you saying all this because this is life lessons, right? So I'm sure now, Doc, you've been married twice, Doc. So I know you done made some mistakes. You have 3 children, right? So 2, tell us the 2 with your first wife.
My first wife, and then I have my 8-year-old Robinson with my current wife.
Now, how old were you when you got married the first time?
I don't know, but I was in my 20s. I wasn't young. I was like 25 or 26, or I don't really remember it like that. But yeah, I was in my 20s. I wasn't 19 or nothing.
Okay, right. So you were in your early 20s. Yeah. Right, take us back. Yeah. So, because I know, you Church of God in Christ. I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff to your story. You were in the military, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So let's talk about your first marriage, if you will, your first being a father. Because if you're giving this wisdom, I know, because that means that you done messed up, you done hit some brick walls, you done communication. What? Talk to us about that bit, sir.
Yeah, so let me tell you. Let me see. I've heard it said, and I use the saying all the time: if you can't be honest, you can't be healed, right? And watch this: if you can't be honest, other people can't be healed. So I want someone to get healed through my honesty. Number one, I said something that was important. I said, I didn't get married when I was in my early 20s. I wasn't 21, 22. I wasn't 21 or 22 or 19 years of age physically. I was just 21 or 22, 19 years of age mentally.
Yeah.
And so what was the mistakes I made? The mistakes I made is I know, and I'm not blaming anybody. I'm just talking the truth for me. The mistake I made was I didn't make the marriage about us as much as I made it about me. You see, my first wife, I told her, I studied the martial arts. I'm a 7th degree black belt. And I just, I got to be honest. I told her, well, in order for me to marry you, you have to be a black girl.
Really?
Yes. Come on, somebody say how ignorant. But I wasn't being ignorant. Let me tell you what I was being. I was like, this is going to be my life. I'm going to have a school. I'm going to travel. I'm going to compete all over. Right. And I want you to be with me. And if you're doing it too, you'll enjoy it a lot more. Mm-hmm. That was my mentality. Not knowing that she can still be with me and she doesn't have to do it. Right. I can go do stuff with her, not because it's what I do, it's because I'm with her. But I didn't know that. You understand? She still did it. We opened the first school together. Like we opened it, we used to teach together. We did things, but as my family grew and I had Monica and then I had Spencer, I didn't change what I was doing. Yeah. I just wanted her to keep doing it. You understand? Like, okay, so at some point she had to say, well, great that you want me to do all this stuff, but I want to be me. Yeah. And you want me to be who you want me to be. And so here's what I'm going to let you do. I'm going to let you go find somebody who will do that, and I'm going to go be me. Right? That's right. Right? And then let me tell you how we got caught up. Here's what she said. She said, but here's what I know. You're never going to see your children again. Now, when she said it, she wasn't saying it to be mean. Her father and mother had divorced, and my children, my daughter just graduated college and my son's a junior at K-State, they've never met her father. Mm-hmm. I never met her father. And he lives in the same town. You understand? So her reality was when parents get divorced, the father leaves and he's never going to see him again. That was her reality. But that's what she said to me. Now, here's where having good teaching comes in. Here's where having the counsel comes in. Because that was what she thought. But I can create a new reality by what I did. So what I did is I still showed up. I still went to their school. I spent the day in school with them each year, all day with each one. I would go down to their sporting meets and swim meets and all that stuff. And one day she called me and she was crying. And I answered the phone. I said, hello. She was crying. And I said, are you okay? She said, yeah. I said, is Monica okay? That's my daughter. She said, yeah, Monica's fine. I said, is Spencer okay? She said, yeah, Spencer's fine. Well, I don't know. Like, well, why are you crying? She said, well, I was talking to the teacher. And they said, when you come and spend the day with Spencer, he carries himself different. He acts different. He conducts himself different. The swim coach said, when you come to his meets, all of his times are faster. You understand? There's something about you being there. It changes who he sees himself as. And I was like, wow, that's great. But why are you crying? She said, it hurts me to say this. Listen, I'm talking to someone right now. She said, it hurts me to say this because I'm a mom and I love my son. But I think he would benefit from coming to live with you because there's something that you can help him with that I can't help him with. What? That's what being a mom is all about. That's what being a dad is all about, is just showing up in spite of what somebody else said, in spite of what somebody else did. You just still show up. And then the mom is just doing what you know is best, even though it hurts. I have a lady I work with, Dr. Tracy Ward, and she talked about her son being born with a stroke. Yes. And they told her, look, just leave him at the hospital and you can go on to your 4-year-old. She said, no, I'm not leaving my son at the hospital. If God gave me a special needs son, then I'm a special needs mom and I'm going to take care of it. But then here's what she talks about. She said his hands were contracted and his legs were contracted. And so as a mom, she had to stretch him every night and he would cry. She said when he cried, guess what? I cried because it was hurting him, but at the same time, it was hurting me. But that's what a mom does. And so she said, Ruben, I'm going to send him to live with you. And she did that. And so that's what I'm saying. What does it mean to be a real dad? Showing up even when you're not supposed to. Showing up when they already threw in the flag. Showing up when people tell you, man, you ain't got to go. I wouldn't put myself in that situation. Showing up when it feels uncomfortable. Showing up when it's in spite of, like Sonia Robinson just put in. And then what do you get from that? Maybe you get a chance to help them be a real mom, which means, hey, I want you to have a relationship with your dad, even though I can't stand his guts right now. I want you to have a relationship with your dad, even though seeing his face gets on my last nerves. Yes. I want you to have not that you got to power, but I'm saying that's really
it's in your head. Absolutely.
And if you don't ever tell the truth, if you can't be honest, you can't be healed. And if you won't be honest, your children may not be healed. Come on, Ruben. Speak, Ruben West. I am speaking. Come on.
Whoa. Powerful. And it's so powerful because we really don't understand, like you said, your power, and that's the same thing, even as a father, even as a mother, so even relational to the mother and to the father, but to the children, how powerful you are in the decisions that you make, even when your heart is breaking, right? Even like you said, if I could, I would, but I know at the end, this is what's best for you. Oh, that's good.
The problem is, it's easier. Les Brown said, if you do what is easy, your life will be hard. But if you do what is hard, your life will be easy. See, in the moment, it's easier to do what's easy. In the moment, it's easier to say, your dad makes me sick. Your dad ain't nothing. Your dad ain't gonna be nothing. And you look just like your dad. Your dad gets on my last nerve. Your dad don't pay nothing. Your dad don't buy nothing. Your dad don't do it, right? But putting someone else down doesn't lift you up.
No.
Right? Putting you down doesn't lift someone up. And so what you have to do is do what's hard.
Yeah.
Right? That's the character. Helen Keller said, character cannot be developed in ease and quiet. Only through the experience of trial and suffering can the soul be strengthened, ambition inspired, and success achieved. What does that mean? Even though you wanted to say something, you say, no, that's your dad and he loves you. Go spend time with your dad. It's hard. It's character building. It's hard. And you're pissed off and you're mad. And when they go out the door, you may blow up. But right now you say, but this is the right thing to do. And I know you may not have as much fun over there, but life ain't always about having fun. Sometimes life is about learning and spending time. And later they get the benefit of it.
That's good.
So that, I'm serious.
That's good. That's really, really good. I'm just so, I just love it because this it's just real. Like, you know what I mean? We know that there's more than half of the people watching have gone through this or are experiencing it right now. And again, that's why it's so important for you to share, right, this video, because there are, I'm sure, fathers, young fathers that may, be separated from the mother, right? Or it could be even going through a divorce. So that's what I want to talk about. How was it to father through a divorce? Right now, I've been divorced. I've been married, and I remember the thing that hurt me the most was the effect that it would have on my son. Like that was, even to this day, I could feel that my biggest concern was how he would emotionally be affected. Of course we think, financially we can do this, physically handle, but the thing that really hurt me the most was knowing that this divorce, how it would, affect my son. So how do you, speak a bit to that? How do you father through a divorce? Because now, healthfully, if that's a word, but successfully, if you will, because your children now are very successful, right? Two of your children, your oldest. So can you speak to that a bit? What would you advise? And
So the first thing I would suggest is that you write your own standards.
Yeah.
See, you write your own standards, and then you have to hold yourself to a higher standard than you did at the time of your divorce. Mm-hmm. You see, because if you were doing everything right then y'all wouldn't have got divorced. so most people get divorced and then they want to maintain the same standard when they don't look at the fact that you're divorced. So something didn't go right. And you can always point out what she did that wasn't right. I'm speaking from a man, but you married her. You chose her. Right? You understand? And you probably drove her to the direction that she went. One guy said, my wife left. I said, well, why did she leave? He said, well, I don't know. I said, that's why she left, because you don't listen. Right? Like she told you she didn't just up one day and just leave. She had been saying it a long time. And then when you didn't listen, she finally said, well, there's no way to reach you. So I'm going to let you go and go do what you're going to do. And I'm going to be over here doing what I'm doing. So what you got to realize is you now have to develop a higher standard of communication, a higher standard of operation. So I had to write a list of, here's some things that I'm going to do no matter what. Should I have done them before? Yep. But the fact that I didn't do it doesn't stop me from needing to still do it.
That's good.
And so here's my list. And then you know what? She's supposed to be mad, right? He's supposed to be mad because it didn't work. Nobody fails and they say, oh, this is great. No, they're hurt, they're upset, and they're supposed to be mad. But I got to give it to somebody. Sometimes the reason we can never make a difference is because we can never stay in the room. Let me tell you what I'm talking about. You get so mad, you got to storm out. Ooh. You get, I can't talk to you, then you can never make a difference. You can never make an impact if every time things get tough, you got to walk out of the room. So what you have to do is learn to develop your communication skills in the midst of difficult communication, because we wouldn't need any communication skills if it was easy. You only need skills for something when it's hard. That's why you develop communication skills. And so when you realize that it didn't work, now if you think you needed communication skills when you were married, you really need them once you're divorced and you guys are going in different directions. So you have to set a new standard for how you're going to conduct yourself, and then hold yourself to that standard. I went to Monica's games. I went to her swim meets. I went to Spencer's thing. And here's another thing. I never treated Jennifer different.
Wow.
I didn't treat, and in spite of what she said, she didn't really treat me any different. She didn't treat me any different. Now, why does that make a difference? Because they say sometimes time heals all wounds, right? Right. Time can heal all wounds, right? But salt can keep all wounds open. So it doesn't matter how much time goes by if you keep throwing salt in it. So at some point, you got to see what is good about the individual.
Yeah.
So you got to look for the goodness. And what I saw in Jennifer is she would take them wherever they needed to go. Whether it's basketball, baseball, camp, swimming, it doesn't matter. She would take them wherever they needed to go. That she was still elevating herself in the midst of our separation. Awesome. That she said, look, I'm not just going to stay right here. I'm going back to school. I'm going to be now she's the director of radiation therapy at the hospital. She was X-ray tech when I met her, and then she was a radiation therapist, but she became the director of radiation therapy. She even called me. She said, Ruben, do you think I should be the director? I said, well, let me ask you, do you want your colleagues telling you what to do, or you want to tell them? She said, that's what I needed to hear. And so she applied for the director's position. Right. The reason she could call me is because I still saw the greatness in her. Watch this. Because if you can't see the greatness in their mom, then you won't allow your children to see the greatness of them in them either. And they're going to see themselves as a function of you and her. So you got to talk about the greatness. This is what your mom is great at. This is what she does well. This is how smooth she is in this area.
Yes.
Is there going to be some things that they're not good at? Of course, it's called being human.
Yeah.
But here's where the character develops come in. Do you talk about those things, or do you talk about the good things? You make the decision.
Man, I'm writing, guys. I hope you are really listen. Are you picking up what he's putting down? And this is real reality. This is real talk and a level of maturity. This is real life lessons, right? This is just real talk. And I think that's powerful that throughout it, you know what, especially even for a man, that you still need to see, because a lot of times the mom keep going. You know what I mean? Like, you're right. She's working. She's going back to school, still taking care of the kids. Kids look good. They clean. I mean, getting them to everywhere they got to go. And somehow you still got something negative to say about it. You still got something to talk about it. But being able to be positive and highlight the amazing things about that woman, that obviously, like you said, there was something good there, clearly. Right. That is really, really powerful for, and that's really being a man. Like being a real man, to do that and pour that into your children and help your children not to be hurt, not to be wounded, right? You almost, like you said, you're making sure that you're healed, right? And then making sure that your children are healing through the process, because it can be such something really, really damaging, when you go through a divorce. So that is powerful, powerful, powerful. All right. Anybody else? Go ahead.
Let me say one.
Yes, come on.
Men are listening. If the men are listening.
Yeah.
If the women are listening.
Yeah.
So now we're both remarried, right? Mm-hmm. We're both remarried. I have another son. She has two more sons. They get together. They've taken pictures together. I have no animosity. I have none. But let me show you how you can build going forward. When you can get to deal with you is when you speak with your current spouse or your current family members or whoever it is, and you just let the issue be you. So you just let the issue. Well, why weren't you together? Well, I just wasn't ready. I wasn't mature enough. I wasn't. It doesn't matter if they weren't. It doesn't matter. Just let the issue be you. Now, what happens a lot of times is we make the issue them. They didn't do this. They wasn't that. They wasn't that. Now, here's this new spouse, and they have an attitude with this person they've never met, and the attitude comes from you. So I'm going to tell something to somebody listening right now. If you have a new relationship and you used to be in one and they don't like the person you used to be with, that's your fault.
That's that's right.
And it shows more about your character than it does their character, because they never met them. They only met them through you. So when you say, hey man, they did this great and they did this great and they were smart in this area, so why'd you get divorced? I just didn't do the right things, right? Then it just leaves it at you. But we can carry the shoulder, we can carry the burden, we can carry it. But what it allows is for when they get together, there is no animosity. Right? When the parents get together, there is no animosity. My mom, one of the things I love about my mom is mess up if you want to. She don't cut people off. Her motto is, I'm not going to treat somebody a certain way because y'all don't have a relationship. I'm going to treat them a certain way because I have a relationship. So she still calls her daughter. That's the way she is, because she learned that from her dad. Remember, I said principle centered. My grandfather, Riley M. Byrd, stood for something. And that's one of the best characteristics that my mom learned from him, is she stands for something. And so even though you had a falling out, knockdown, drag out, she's like, well, yeah, that's between y'all. But anyway, tell her I want to see her. Tell her I can't wait to see her. Oh, I can't wait to see her.
You gotta love my wife.
Right? She said, I'm gonna pick a side, and the side is my side. Right? And so that's the great thing about having that maturity, her having that development, and her being Christ-centered and love-centered. That she has a heart of love, and it's not going to change because you had a falling out.
Yeah, that's powerful. Yeah, we love Mom West. There's no question about it. I know she was there watching. She told you to tell the truth. She commented about 20 minutes ago for you to tell the truth. That's what he's doing, Mom West. Indeed. Okay, so last but not least, time is going by. I mean, you see how this goes, right? Like we can. That's why I'm on the couch tonight for you, because I know we're gonna have to come back, right? Because this was the fatherhood, but I know you have so much amazing things that's going on. Now, I want you to talk about Bialogue, and we've shared a bit about the book and the terms. What type of advice or anything that you want to share from Bialogue that you think can really bless the fathers and even just the family, if you will, when we talk about communication? Anything you want to share?
One of the things I have with Bialogue is a program, Bialogue for Families. And Bialogue is a new communication paradigm that communicates from a certain place. In other words, most people, especially when they're not feeling each other, they sit down and the conversation is going to be a debate. And they're going to argue back and forth. You did this, you didn't do this. Excuse me. And at the end of the debate, at the end of a debate, you don't expect them to be together. You expect them to be apart, and then one side wins and one side loses. And most of the time, both of the sides thinks they won because they said, well, you know what I told him, and you know what I told her, and you know what I said, and you could have said all that, but it didn't bring you together. Yeah. Right. And so, and then some people communicate from a lecture style, and women hate this because the man will get up and he'll just be blah, 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 and they're like, right. And so there's a thing I call in Bialogue input fatigue. And that's what people keep giving their advice. I told you what I want. I told you what I'm missing. I told you what I need. I said what I said, and you don't listen. So they just stop giving it. The guy said, I don't know why she left. That's why she left. She had input fatigue. You wouldn't listen. She done told you 100 times and you wouldn't listen. So her only answer now is deuces. I got to go. Right. And so Bialogue addresses those real issues, especially Bialogue for Families, that most people wouldn't come across. They wouldn't bring up, a pseudo sit down. That's when they say, hey, we're gonna have a family meeting, and really a man who wants to tell you all he's done and let you see all he's done and why you should like him, why you should need him, why he should be worshipped, and y'all know there's nothing gonna come out of it.
No.
And so what that develops and what that creates, especially in the children, and I took this from you, Anana, and I thought you were brilliant when you came up with this, was the term shadow seekers.
Yeah.
Right? That in any dynamic, whether it's a meeting of a company, a church, a home, there's what Anana says is the shadow section. Yeah. That's the part where people don't have to be seen and they don't have to be heard. And when you come with this authoritative dictatorship style of communication, the children grow up to be shadow seekers. What's that? They just want to sit in the background where nobody can call them out. I don't want to answer. I don't want to say anything. And anything I say is going to be wrong. It might hurt my mom's feeling. It might hurt my dad's feeling. So I don't want to say anything. And so what we're doing is, while we're trying to bring the children together, our communication style is pushing them apart. And so we got to come back and just have a whole session on
Good boy.
Bialogue for families. But that's a quick overview of how
Yes.
Bialogue can help the families and some of the things that go along in family dynamics of communication.
Incredible. Incredible. So you guys, Bialogue for the family, because we're focusing on family, fatherhood, and Dr. West has got some tools. He's got some real solutions for those that may even be struggling with the family dynamics and being able to, I know I definitely need it. We need to always better ourselves and improve communication when it comes between the family, your children, the parents. So it certainly is a great tool, I'm sure, that can help our families as we move forward. So, sir, I thank you. Thank you. Time is just like flown by. We got into some things. I'm sure there's even more, but I know without a doubt from the moms on a mission that may be watching that we all, you touched on so many different dynamics in relationships. You talk just even that may not even have children, but just relationship wise, how to communicate, how to understand. We even gave tips for those that, you can mentor others, right? Just to say, listen, change the narrative. How are you helping and coaching someone? Like the first thing is like, girl, he ain't nothing, he ain't been nothing, but that's all your stuff, right? That's the level that they're on. But how can I really help this young woman? How can I really help this young father? How can I really help them and get them to see a perspective that will improve their relationship? So we even have to guard our own mouth. Like, where am I speaking from? Let me check myself, because if this is going to help them, or is this going to really, we got to do that and just take the time to do that. Will just really be powerful. And it's just a crucial time, especially in our community. I just have to say that we really now have to make sure we're giving back, we're teaching, we're coaching, we're mentoring, and loving, the next generation, if you will. So in that, I thank you. I see you. I know you got something else to say. I want you to just give the closing words to the audience. I think so. Thank everyone for watching, but please, I'll just turn it over to you, whatever you want to share on your heart before we close tonight.
Two things. Number one, just remember that when you're coaching that person, if you beat up the person that they were in a relationship with, you're also beating them up, because you're making them feel small for choosing that person, and they're not going to learn to trust their judgment. So just keep that in mind. Number two, remember I said that I had to determine who I was and the standards that I was going to have. And the way to do that is to silence the inner critic, the voices in your head, and write your own affirmation of who you say you are. I'm a balanced, empathetic, sensitive leader, connecting on a divine level, creating new opportunities, and guiding millions towards their God-given dreams. I created that through my Silence the Inner Critic program. If you would like that program for free, I sell this program all day long, but because you're on Anana's Live, if you would like this program, all you got to do is send me a message in Messenger. Ruben, I want the program. Dr. West, I want the program. Just go to Facebook Messenger. Even if we're not friends, just go to Ruben West, send me a thing, say, I want the program, Inner Critic, and I'll give it to you for free, because for me, it's more about doing repair than repayment. I want to help some people repair who they say they are, and then you'll also determine how you treat other people.
Powerful. So guys, you absolutely want to get that tool. You certainly want to, but we got to get rid of that inner critic, because we all have it, and it comes up all the time. My negative Nancy, boy, me and her be duking it out all day long.
He's in there, right?
We be going at it, but we fight it, and thank goodness that, listen, amazing Anana comes out on top every time. So thank God for that. And certainly we worked through that, and I thank you for that tool. I think when we were in Los Angeles, you shared that, and I've been working it out ever since. So it is definitely powerful. So make sure you inbox Dr. West, Ruben West, inbox him and let him know that you are requesting it, and you certainly want to get that. So, sir, I thank you. I appreciate you so much. Thank you to the audience. You know what it is. It's real talk, real solutions. And as I always say, listen, be bold, be you, and be blessed, girl. Have a great night.
See you, everybody.